Can you really change your life in just 5 seconds? Well, that's the promise of the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. This is book 10 of the 52 book challenge. This is, again, just Graham's personal reading challenge this year, and I'm documenting it here on these micro episodes of the show. If you're brand new to this challenge, you can check out all the details. I'm linking to it below in the show notes. And if you want to know my current reading list, go to grahamcochran.com/52 books. That's 52 books. It's not an opt-in. It's just literally a page that I'm updating with the 8 categories of books that I'm reading this year. And I think I have about 42 or 43 already populated, and I've read 10 of them. So I'm moving along. And so the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins has been on my radar for about 5 or 6 years, if not longer. She's got an incredible TED Talk. And I just never picked it up. And I'll be honest, the reason why I never picked it up is because it just sounded like a bit of a clickbaity title. And Mel, if you're listening or watching, there's nothing wrong with the title if it gets people to open up the book, as long as the book delivers, right? It's not clickbait if it actually delivers what it promises. And so I just never picked it up. It seemed like it wasn't for me. And then I kept hearing about it. And one of my friends, David Nurse, who's a great author, he wrote the book Do It, and others, is really good friends with Mel. And he was talking about Mel, and I was like, man, maybe I should check out her stuff. Maybe I should check out the book. And so I figured, why not put it on the list since it's done so well? It's sold over 1 million copies, translated in 32 languages. And the premise is change your life in just 5 seconds. It's really that simple. So here's the rule to save you the purchase of the book. But you should go read the book. It's really, really good. I think the best part of the book, honestly, is all the stories. This is a second edition where she basically then got tons of fan mail. I mean, there's probably like 200 case studies, screen grabs of DMs, messages, posts, emails that she puts in the book of how people have applied the 5-second rule to all these areas of their life. That's the most transformative part of the book, is you see this concept that she came up with and how it transformed her life, which I'll save you the story. You got to read it. It's a fanatical, amazing story, fantastical story. It's fantastic. Completely transformed her life with the rule. She mentioned at the end of her TED Talk briefly, and people were like, what is that? You mentioned this thing called the 5-second rule. You just touched on it. What is that? She ended up writing a book on it. It blew up. And seeing how people apply it, that was worth the price of admission alone. But here's the rule, and then I'm going to share just a couple of the things she talks about of why the rule is so powerful and what I think is so brilliant about this. The 5-second rule: the moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move, or your brain will stop you. That's it. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, examples could be your alarm goes off in the morning early and you want to get out of bed, but what do? The average person I read in this book snoozes for 24 minutes. Periodic snooze buttons, 24 minutes. They get up 24 minutes after their alarm goes off on average. So the 5-second rule would be alarm goes off, you hit it off, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just get out of bed with that before you give yourself a chance to think about it. Same thing going into the gym. Same thing if you see that attractive person across the restaurant and you're single and you want to go up and talk to him or her and you talk yourself out of it. You count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you go right up to him or her and you start talking to her. When you have an idea at the boardroom in your company and you want to share the idea, but you're afraid it's a stupid idea or it'll be mocked, or people will think, why is he speaking up? Why is she speaking up? You 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say, hey, I have an idea, and you share it, even if you're scared out of your mind. And the premise of the book is that life is made up of action, and this rule hacks your brain to have a bias towards action. So if you take more action in life, you're going to get more results. Here's kind of how she talks about it. She started to study this as she was figuring out the rule worked for her. The rule worked for her. She didn't know why, so she started to study it. She says, right before we're about to do something that feels difficult, scary, or uncertain, we hesitate. Hesitation is the kiss of death. That one small hesitation triggers a mental system that's designed to stop you, and it happens in less than, you guessed it, 5 seconds. Ever notice how fast fear and self-doubt take over your head and you start making up excuses for why you shouldn't say something or do something? If you break this habit of hesitating and you find the courage to take some kind of action, that's the beautiful line, some kind of action, you'll be astonished by how fast your life changes. She goes on to say, why the counting and why the counting down? The counting interrupts your normal pattern of behavior, distracts you from fears, and creates a moment of deliberate action. By asserting control in that moment, you activate your prefrontal cortex so that you can drive your thoughts and actions. So what I love is that it doesn't really matter, and she makes this point a lot, of whether the action you take is successful or not. For example, if someone has an idea and they have the courage to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, raise their hand and share that idea in a meeting, what matters is not whether people like that idea or embrace the idea, or what matters is not whether you go up to that girl and talk to her and she wants to go on a date with you. What matters is that you have hacked your brain to have a bias towards action, and you don't let yourself have time to talk yourself out of things or overthink it. And if you create a pattern of life, according to Mel, where you interrupt the thinking, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it, something that you know you want to do or know you should do, but you're having a hard time do it, then you will be a person that just takes more action. And the more action you take, the more likely you're going to see results and positive change, which is very obvious. So there's 2 categories of people that I think this book is helpful for. Number 1 is people who genuinely have a hard time doing things. And I don't mean this in a sarcastic, condescending way. I mean, if you are not a disciplined person, if you're putting off things, if you're very fearful, if you live with a lot of anxiety, this is a very practical tool. And it's very easy for someone who doesn't struggle with those things to read this and go, this is dumb. It's not dumb. The stories are amazing of how people are using this, life-changing for people. So I think if you really struggle with talking yourself out of those things, this is the book for you, and it'll help you have a bias for action. There's another group of people that I think it's helpful for that maybe don't struggle with doing big, hard things. We all do, let's be honest. But if you're very disciplined, or you're like, dude, I go to the gym, I wake up in the morning, I'm already doing it. What I love about this rule is, remember it, think about it. There's going to be one point or some point in your life where there's something that even you, the most disciplined, biased towards action person there is afraid to do or say. And this will apply to you as well, because you're going to be the person that's had so much success, you're so disciplined that you tend to live in your head and overthink things because you want to ensure that you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's and you know the right path forward. I like this rule because it helps you stay out of your head and just do. Not that you shouldn't plan, not that you shouldn't think things through, but some things don't require you thinking them through. Just take the next step. Just talk to the person, call the person, go to the gym, raise your hand in the meeting, see the person that you need to ask for a raise for and talk to them. Like, talk to the customer, have the hard conversation with the employee that's letting you down. Like, just do the thing, because I'm sure there's something in your life that you are avoiding that you shouldn't avoid that would lead to breakthrough on the other side. So there's my take on the 5-second rule. When there's something that you know you should do or want to do, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take action before your brain has a chance to talk yourself out of it. Go check it out. Go check out her TED Talk. I forget the name of it right now, but Mel Robbins. I love how absolutely honest, transparent, and humble she is. Blows me away for someone who has got as big of a platform as her. She just seems like a regular lady, and I can appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying your book challenge, however many books you've decided to read this year. And let me know if you're watching this in the comment below on YouTube. What's the next book you're going to read? What's next on your list? Have an amazing day. We'll see you on next week's book review.